Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. In today's tutorial I'll be showing you how to convert your African flower motifs into hexagons. Okay, so if you would like to learn how to crochet the African flower motif, I have a separate tutorial on that, so I will leave the link in the description box below, and I'll also leave the link right here on the right top corner. Okay, so if you want to learn the motif first, then you can check that tutorial out, and if you want to learn how to convert it into a hexagon, then please keep watching. In this tutorial, I'll be using a 4mm size crochet hook and the yarn corresponding to the size of my hook. This is the same hook size that I used to make my motif as well. Okay, so I would suggest you to use the same or a size larger. Okay, so once you've got the color that you want to make your final row, all you need to do is join your yarn to the center of your petal. So this is one petal right here, right? So you need to identify the center stitch. So it's quite easy. All you need to do is, if you remember that the final row that we did, so the single crochet row that we did here, we made around 7 single crochets, right, on each petal. So if you see carefully, you have this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7, right? So we have 7 single crochets on top of your petal. So you just need to identify the 4th single crochet. So this is 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So right above that 4th single crochet will be the center of my petal. So make sure you're going through both the loops, okay, from the top, right, and that is basically the center of this petal. Okay, so you need to attach your yarn to the center. So you can choose any petal. Just make sure that you're going through the top of the 4th single crochet, okay, from the previous row. So here I'm just going to attach my yarn with a simple knot, okay, like so. And then I'm just going to insert my hook back into that same space, grab my yarn, pull through. Okay, so here I've attached my yarn, okay, and I'll be working the loose end along with my stitches. So I'm just going to place the loose end along the side here. Okay, and now let's begin with this final row to convert our motif into a hexagon. So to begin, you need to start by a simple chain 4. Okay, so you're going to just chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Okay, so here I've made a simple 4 chains. Okay, so now from this 4 chain, the first 3 chains will count as 1 double crochet stitch. Okay, the first 3 chains will count as 1 double crochet stitch. When I say double crochet, I'm using the US term. In the UK, that's your treble crochet stitch. Okay, and then the last chain, the 4th chain, will count as a chain between your stitches. Make sense? So this will be 1 double crochet and a chain space. Okay, and after that, you're going to make 1 proper double crochet stitch into that same space that we attached our yarn to, okay, into the same space that we just worked all these chains. So into that same space we'll go back and work 1 double crochet stitch. Okay, so you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook back into that same space, into the top of that 4th single crochet from the previous row, grab your yarn, pull through. We have 3 loops on our hook. You're going to yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, 2 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. Okay, so this is how our stitches will look like so far. So we have our 4 chains and 1 proper double crochet stitch into that same stitch space. Now moving on to the next stitch space. So this is my next stitch space right here. Can you see that space? Yeah, this one here. Okay, so that's basically the top of the next single crochet from the previous row. Okay, so into that space I'll just be working 1 double crochet stitch. Okay, so yarn over once, insert your hook into the top of the next stitch space, grab your yarn, pull through, 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So we have 1 double crochet stitch there. Okay, now moving on to the next stitch space. So this space right here, above the single crochet from the previous row. Okay, above the next single crochet. So into this next stitch space we work another double crochet stitch. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch space, like so. Okay, right, and now we are going to work 1 more single crochet into the next stitch space. So now moving on to the next stitch space. So this single crochet here of the petal from the previous row. Okay, so this is the last single crochet, right, of this petal, right, and then the next stitch is that a spike stitch that we did, the larger single crochet. Okay, so just before that we can see that there's 1 more single crochet here. So we'll work 1 double crochet above this single crochet from the previous row. Okay, so 1 more double crochet into the next stitch space. Right, okay, so this is how our stitches will look like so far. So we have our chain 4 and 1 double crochet into the same stitch space. So this sort of forms like a V stitch. Okay, and then we have 1 double crochet into the next stitch space, 1 double crochet into the next, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch space. Okay, now we move on to the next petal. So we are going to skip this spike stitch here. We're going to skip this large single crochet that we made from the previous row. Okay, so we're going to skip this stitch and straight away move on to the top of the next single crochet. So this is our first single crochet for this petal, right? This is our first single crochet. So above this single crochet from the previous row, we will make 1 double crochet stitch. Make sense? Okay, so into this stitch space here, okay, right above the single crochet from the previous row, we work 1 double crochet stitch. So you're going to yarn over once, insert your hook into that stitch space, making sure you're going through both the loops. Grab your yarn, pull through 3 loops on our hook, yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops, yarn over, pull through the next 2 loops. So we worked 1 double crochet stitch on top of this first single crochet of this petal. Okay, now we work another double crochet into the next stitch space. Okay, so 1 double crochet into the next stitch space above the next single crochet from the previous row. Okay, so we worked 1 double crochet stitch. Now moving on to the next stitch space, we work another double crochet. So 1 double crochet into the next. So we do this 3 times, right, for each petal. When we are going up the petal, we work it 3 times. So we work 1 double crochet into this stitch space, then moving on to the next stitch space, 1 double crochet, and then into the next stitch space, another double crochet. So we have 3 so far for this petal, right? A total of 3 double crochet stitches. Right, now when we reach the 4th stitch space, okay, that is actually the center of your petal. So into the 4th stitch space here for this petal, we'll be working the V stitch. Okay, when I say V stitch, it's basically 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 double crochet all into that same stitch space. Okay, into that 4th stitch space. So above the 4th single crochet from the previous row, right, the green color here, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, right? So the 4th stitch space, that space here, we work the V stitch. So we'll be working 1 double crochet, chain 1 and 1 double crochet into that same stitch space, like so. Okay, so we worked a V stitch at the top of the petal, and then we're basically going to repeat what we did so far. So we're going to go down this petal, okay, and we'll be working 1 double crochet each into the next 3 stitch spaces. Okay, so above the single crochets from the previous row, we work 1 double crochet each. So 1 double crochet into the next stitch space, right, 1 double crochet into the next stitch space, and 1 double crochet into the next stitch space. Okay, so we finished with the second petal as well. Now we have that spike stitch from the previous row, the larger single crochet. Right, we're going to skip that. So we're going to skip the next stitch space and move straight away to the first single crochet from the next petal. So we move on to this petal of our flower. Identify the first single crochet. So this is our first single crochet for this petal. So right above that single crochet, so this stitch space here, right below this V from the loops here, okay, we work our first double crochet stitch for this petal. So yarn over once, skipping this spike stitch, moving on to the top of this single crochet, the first single crochet of this petal, we work one double crochet stitch like so. Okay, and then basically the pattern is the same. You're going to repeat this all the way around for this row, okay, to convert our motif into a hexagon shape. Okay, so I'll just quickly show it to you again for this petal. So we worked our first double crochet stitch. Now we move on to the next stitch space and work one double crochet again. So one double crochet into the next stitch space. Right, now moving on to the next stitch space, we work another double crochet. So one double crochet into the next stitch space. Okay, so for this petal we worked 3 double crochet stitches so far, 1, 2 and 3. Right, now we reach the top of this petal, the center part of this petal. Okay, so into the 4th stitch space, okay, we work the V stitch. So we work one double crochet, chain 1 and one double crochet all into this stitch space here, the 4th stitch space. Okay, so let's work the V stitch here. So one double crochet, chain 1, go back into that same space and work another double crochet. Okay, and now we will work our way down. So we have the next 3 stitch spaces here for this petal. We work one double crochet into this space, one double crochet into the next stitch space and one double crochet into the last stitch space for this petal. So one double crochet to the next space, one double crochet into the next and one double crochet into the next. So this is the basic pattern so far, okay, for each petal. So repeat this all the way around and I'll show you how to finish this row. So you may pause the video here if you need to and just continue this pattern all the way around and I'll show you how to finish off this row. So here I've reached the end of my row, okay, and I'm going to do the same thing for this last part as well. I'm going to skip this spike stitch here, the larger single crochet stitch from the previous row. I'm going to skip this stitch space and I'm going to move to my next stitch space, so above this single crochet from the previous row, and work one double crochet, okay, just as we did so far. So one double crochet here. And then I move to the next stitch space, so this space here, okay, above the single crochet from the previous row, and I'm going to work one double crochet as well. And then into the next stitch space, this space here, I'll be working my last double crochet stitch. So another double crochet into the next stitch space as well. So just the same way as we did our stitches so far, okay. So now we've reached the end here, and if you remember, we started this row with a chain 4, right? And I mentioned that the first 3 chains of our chain 4 will count as one double crochet stitch. So to finish off this row, all you need to do is work a slip stitch into that 3rd chain, okay, from the 4 chains that we made. So you're just going to identify the chains. So these are my 4 chains here. Okay, so if it's confusing for you to identify the chains, the best way to sort of count it is from the previous, from the next double crochet. So this is my first double crochet here, right? My proper double crochet stitch. So this will be my 4th chain, and so just one chain below will be my 3rd chain. So this right here is my 3rd chain. This is my 4th chain, and this is the top of my double crochet stitch. Make sense? So 4th chain and 3rd chain. So into this 3rd chain space, so into this space right here, I'll be working my slip stitch. So I'm going to insert my hook into that space, grab my yarn, pull through and pull through again, and that basically completes this row. Okay, so now to finish this, all you need to do is chain 1, get your scissors, leave a little bit of yarn to sew in the ends, and cut off your yarn. Okay, and then just pull through. Tighten your nose. Okay, and now you can sew in your ends, and so I'll just sew in all my ends and I'll be right back. So here I've sewed in my ends and my hexagon is complete. So I basically converted my African flower motif into a hexagon. I think that this method is pretty useful if you're trying to join your African flower motifs together to form a larger project like a blanket or so. So I think this makes it a much more easier to join your hexagons together. Okay, so this is the end of this tutorial. I hope my instructions were easy to follow. Please give this video a thumbs up if you could, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All you need to do is click on the red button below this video. It's free to subscribe and you will be notified whenever I post a new tutorial. Alright, so that's it. God bless, have a wonderful day ahead, and I'll see you guys in my next tutorial. Bye.